Folks, we have our very first special guest of Live from Wimbledon 2024. I am thrilled to welcome Jame Baker, Wimbledon Tournament Director, to the Tennis Podcast. Jame, how are you doing?
I'm good. I didn't realise I was the first, but before we start talking tennis, though, I know I've got the Wimbledon tie on, but you guys have got some nice kit here.
I know.
I like that.
It's good, isn't it?
Thank you very much.
Where'd you get that?
It's funny you should ask that, Jame.
We went on a visit to this #1 Wimbledon shop.
Yeah.
It was
Quite nice down
It was
there,
really
isn't
great.
Yeah, we're big fans. This is Jude, our
Nice.
teddy bear from the Wimbledon shop, named for Jude Bellingham. Just
Tonight.
half an hour
Fair
ago.
enough.
Moments
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Staying there for a
The-
full 2 weeks?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Lucky charm now.
Tentatively saying that. Yeah.
Yep.
The vibe of this show was going to be very different half an hour ago. So yeah, we're very glad to have you. I'm imagining the eve of the tournament is a busy, anxious, exciting time for you.
Yeah, all of those things. Although I do love qualifying / practice week, the way everything kind of builds. And I was just thinking, as I was walking up here, I find it astonishing now on Sunday night when we're up here, everybody else is gone, this place is like completely quiet, almost as if it was any other night of the year. You know, the club is shut down, no one's here, and then we know what's coming tomorrow. It just like explodes to life. I find it pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm a Christmas Eve person, not a Christmas Day person. These few days that we've had here on site before the tournament starts, I've found incredibly special. It's been fantastic. We've just been talking about Andy Murray. You'll be shocked to hear.
Yeah. What's going on?
We're hoping you might tell us.
He had his press conference earlier. He gave us a very, very frank update about what he's been going through after the last week, the uncertain situation that he's currently in, what his desperate hopes are for trying to create some kind of moment that feels like a fitting way to end his incredible career. Just knowing him as well as you do, you first met him like under 10s, is that right?
7 or 8, yeah.
Incredible. What do you think closure looks and feels like for Andy Murray in that incredible mind of his?
I don't think I know any more than you do on that question. I guess I do. He has had an unbelievable career. I guess the one I do have one thing in the fact that I've been through the process of stopping playing. So somebody very wise always said to me when I was really quite young, they said, Jame, one of the easiest things you've ever done is kind of basically start being a tennis player, because you pick up a game as a kid and you get a bit better, and it's such a privilege to do it for a living. Like, so any athlete is such a privilege to do it. The hardest decision you'll ever make is deciding when to stop doing that. And the reason why that is because you can get so much advice from your family, from your friends, from professionals, from whoever. But you know, whether you stop playing when you're 25 or 37 or 41, you're young, and it's only you that has to live with that for the rest of your life. So navigating your way into making the decision and being at peace with it yourself is, we can all see it on his face and the way he talks. That's exactly what he's trying to navigate at the moment. And he, you know, for everything that he's achieved, and particularly here, obviously, I think probably all of us hope that he can navigate that well and get the moment and the recognition that he deserves probably as much as anybody.
But based on what you've seen and heard this last week, and he's been on the practice court the last couple of days, do you think if he doesn't have another setback, that he will get some kind of moment on a tennis court, whether it's singles or doubles?
Yeah, if he doesn't have a setback, I think absolutely. I mean, before we even talk about tennis, I mean, having had surgery on his back, it's pretty incredible that we're actually even talking about he's going to go out and play tennis at a Grand Slam at any level. But it kind of just sums him up, really. Like, there's no point in talking about him in a way that's in the least bit normal. He's not. You don't achieve things, and you don't achieve what he has achieved in the way that he's achieved it if you are. So, look, there's still a couple of days. Well, one full day of kind of, I guess, prep / rehab for him to do. yeah, I think unless he gets a setback, I think we will see him on a tennis court.
Do you worry about him in retirement? Do you think he's going to find it tough for a while?
I think I think most athletes probably do. I mean, he's got he's got an amazing life as a result of everything that he's achieved and who he is as a person. He's got an amazing wife. He's got 4 wonderful kids. Like he is. I'm not worried about him not having anything to do. That's for sure. He's got plenty to do. But it's like anybody else, an athlete. Like, he's not ever done anything other than play tennis. So he's going into a new chapter. I mean, think in the normal world how not destabilizing, but how different it is when you start a new job. I think it's kind of like that times 100, especially when it's somebody who's probably like achieved so much.
Watch this space. We keep saying we'll keep you posted on Andy Murray, and we all feel the same, don't we? We would just want him to have some kind of moment that helps him achieve some peace. No, you've got things to do. Just a couple of topics we want to cover off with you while you've got it. We're about to look ahead to tomorrow's order of play. Centre court starts at 1:30 tomorrow, as it has done for the last couple of years. I know that was a topic of some contention last year. Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray queried it and suggested it should be moved back earlier to where it was before. Sally Bolton covered it in her pre-tournament press conference and said the club was comfortable with the situation. Could you just explain the thinking behind the 1:30 start and leaving it as it is?
I'm going to surprise you. I actually love talking about scheduling. Maybe it's because people force me to do it all the time. It's like most of my day. But I do actually quite like talking about the challenges and the considerations and all the different aspects to it. So with that one in particular, I think probably the main point is that, well, from my point of view, our has to be one of our number one goals every single day is to finish the matches that we get on the schedule. So when we get into a position where we have matches unfinished coming back the next day, we can never say that that's a successful day. That'll never be the case. That will always be the case. Sometimes things happen that are out of our control. Now, I think quite a lot of people certainly here share the view that I'm going to give here. Changing the timing of a schedule is quite a big thing. It has impacts across the whole grounds, the whole event, television, players, everything. Over 40,000 people coming in here every day, so it's a big thing. So our what we're really led by on that is not to make any knee-jerk reactions. So if we're going to make a decision to change any part of the scheduling, what we're really trying to do is be driven by the information and the data that we have over multiple years. And the reason why we've kept at it this year is because there isn't any evidence over multiple years to show that the timings we have are an issue. Last year there was 2 matches that got held over. That's not good. If we're in the same position this year, I mean, we review scheduling every year anyway, but clearly we will have a really close eye on that. And look, the final thing I would say on scheduling is, and this is quite ironic considering some of the conversations that have come up maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, one of the best things about our schedule is that we stopped playing at 11 o'clock. So I think that is just fantastic. We're not playing in the middle of the night. I'm really happy with where we're at on that.
You are speaking our language, Jame.
Especially this guy.
Yeah, gosh, there's very little I hate more than great tennis happening at 3 o'clock in the morning and people thinking that's okay. Just on that point of trying to finish every day's play on centre court, something I do find interesting is how the roof comes into that, because it does seem that with the 1:30 start time, you don't have to have extraordinary things to happen for that final match to finish under the roof. Are you comfortable with the roof being deployed as a way to finish the day rather than just because it's raining? It doesn't quite seem to me like necessarily that's what the roof was originally for.
I think that's fair to say. That is a gradual shift maybe in culture and mindset here. When we put the roofs in, we were definitely, okay, that's our insurance policy against the rain. But actually, the way that I guess the expectations of everybody involved in tennis and the nature of the business now, the size of the business, we need to have continuous tennis really as much as possible going on. So yeah, I mean, I think when we started, we were very much, we're an outdoor tournament, we're an outdoor tournament, we're an outdoor tournament. We are an outdoor tournament, but we're not going to be martyrs about it and not use it for the benefit of players and fans and everybody. So I think that's probably where we're at. And look, we will have, in terms of through the player lens, you're right. You know, when we get to that third match, if it's particularly if it's a day where it's one women's and two men's, the likelihood of that last match finishing under the roof is pretty high. So what we're actually doing now, and we kind of started last year, is we're thinking, right, okay, what's our cutoff for starting a match outside when we know we've only got a certain amount of daylight left? Actually, let's tell the players early, if we go beyond this time, you're going to start with the roof shut. You know you're in the same conditions, you're going to finish the match, and away we go from there. That's something we weren't doing a few years ago, so that was received pretty well by the players last year.
What is that time?
We would look for a men's match, we would look around about an hour and a half's worth of daylight, and for a women's match slightly less. So if we're getting less than that, we'll be starting to think, right, actually, is this a day where we would want to start that match with the roof shut?
It's interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting. One last topic to cover with you. I know it's a very emotive topic for everyone at Wimbledon and the club. It's the development of the site across the road, and the hopes for that, so that qualifying can be brought on site, an extra show court, expansion of public areas. I'm a local resident. I get a lot of emails from my MP about it. I have submitted my support for the plans.
Thank you. Please keep doing that.
That should do it.
Yeah. I wrote comments and everything. Yeah, there was editorial. But it's hanging in the balance, isn't it? It's with the General London Assembly right now. There is a lot of opposition to it, not from me, but from a lot of people locally. How confident are the club of that passing, of that getting through? And how important is it that it does?
We're I'd say hugely confident on the merits of the scheme. Like this is not a bad place to sit and kind of try to visualize what it might look like in the future. I think it's just so exciting, like for so many different reasons. Just if I can mention two. Grand Slams, if we're taking a long-term view, we have to play the whole tournament on one site. We can make Roehampton as great as we like, and we've invested a lot of money in it over the last few years to try to close the gap between here and there. So the players there do get much more of a Wimbledon experience, but we're all kidding ourselves if we think that is, in the long term, the definition of the pinnacle of the sport. So, you know, if we want to continue that is really, really important. Secondly, with that, at the moment, when we stop qualifying on Thursday, all those courts at Roehampton have no other value to the main players who are playing at the championships. We're not actually adding courts here. We're taking the footprint of Roehampton, we're putting it over the road, and what will happen is all those courts, when the qualies finishes, is now available for all of the main draw players. So you imagine you're coming to Wimbledon during that week, you're going to see people battling it out to play here in the main draw, but you're also going to be 5 feet away from Carlos Alcaraz sweating in practice. And imagine doing that whilst you're walking around a park. Like, to me, that is just amazingly exciting. And then the third thing is about the new park. You know, this land has been a private members golf club. You know, it's all very well having that, and you know, if people want to sit and look through the fence and not have access to the land, that's one thing, but we are the only people that can give that land back to our neighbours. And that, I mean, anybody particularly who has young kids or likes to be out and have some fresh air, you know, dogs in that area, you know, having a massive garden, not everybody has that. It's just such an asset. And just the last one on that, look, we yes, we will often talk about it's so important that we are a good neighbour, and that's it's in our DNA. It's actually more than that. We consider ourselves as one of the community here. Like you can see when you're at the top of the hill walking down, we are part of this really amazing community, this global venue that's in this really residential, lovely area. We're not kind of sitting on the outside and looking in. We are part of it, and that's why we feel so strongly about it. So it's for that reason I think we will get the right result for everybody involved, but obviously the actual decision doesn't sit with us.
I really hope so.
Yeah,
I mean, I
me
know
too.
I'm biased, but I am a local resident, and I've read the plans really closely, and I think it's great from all perspectives. So if it does pass, I'll take some personal credit.
You
for that.
should.
You're welcome.
And it's pretty important, really, isn't it? When you consider what we've just come from at Roland Garros, where they've basically made that a 3-week tournament, and they had packed Susan Longling crowds for the first round of qualifying. It was incredible, and you don't want to be left behind. Listen, nobody, I love this place as much as anybody, but there is competition between. It's friendly competition, but there is competition between the 4 slams.
Yeah, and look, we know all the amazing attributes that we have here at Wimbledon and the championships, but at no point this place is. We haven't achieved what we've achieved by being complacent. You can never, ever, ever be complacent. And your point about being left behind is this is really about engaging the next generation of people with tennis. Getting, if you don't have role models and you can't get access to something, how are you meant to know that that's for you? And this is such a valuable way in which we can do that. There's only so far we can go with this setup that we have just now. So that's one of the reasons why it's so exciting.
When are we expecting the next update on it?
Well, I don't think we have anything confirmed, but hopefully not too long.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Good luck.
Fingers crossed over here. Jamie, good luck with that and with the championships.
Thank you.
What time do you get up in the morning tomorrow?
I actually always get up earlier than I need to because of my kids, so I almost don't even need to set an alarm. But I'll be one of the first here.
You're a David Law,
Yes.
not a Catherine Whittaker.
Good luck, Jamie.
Jamie, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Really
Thanks.
appreciate it, and
Okay.
best of luck.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Speaking your language, Matt.
Curfews.
I thought you were going to go, there's this tournament. It's called Wimbledon.